Hi, today I'd like to talk to you about this pen. This is the Pilot Custom 74. It's a pen I've had for a long time. I don't know why I've never reviewed it. It's one of my first fountain pens. I've had it for years now. But before I talk about the pen, I'd like to introduce you to Ponyo. This is the newest member of my family, our family. He's a hairless Sphinx cat. He is 16 and a half weeks old, and he's super awesome. He has no hair. He looks like a little monster, and and he wears a sweater because he has no hair. And this sweater, I actually knit that for him. I taught myself how to knit, kind of specifically to learn how to do sweaters for the cat. So anyways, that's going on, but we're not here for cats, we are here for pens. So let's talk about this pen. So this is a Pilot pen. Pilot's a Japanese fountain pen company. They make pens I quite like, especially when you come to the finer nibs. I think that Pilot is one of the best nibs when it comes to fine nibs, and this one is a fine, because when I first started pens, that's what I wanted. I use them mostly for drawing, a little bit of writing, and it's great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the pieces of this pen. I'm going to give this pen some ratings out of 5. I'm going to rate the design, the comfort, and the writing experience. And then we'll do a writing sample, and then we'll be done. In the meantime, let's go take a look at the parts of the pen. Okay, so these are the pieces of the pen. Start with the cap. So bullet shape, got a kind of a smoke colored dome there, round on top. Kind of like that. Goes into the clip, which is sandwiched between these two. Goes around, comes down, has a ball in there, and I kind of like the ball. It's nice, and it's actually a really good clip, and I think the ball works really well. That's a kind of old tried and true, kind of a classic design. There's the inner cap. It's a darker smoke color. There's the ink that's trapped between. I'm going to give you a close-up of all this stuff. And then the chrome. I think it's chrome band because there's no gold content writing on it. And it says Pilot, made in Japan, custom 74. Yeah, so that is the cap. So here's a close-up. It says Pilot there. It has a small crack there, which it developed a couple years ago. I don't know why. It may have been me mishandling it. Flaw in the plastic, I don't know. Don't love that, but it doesn't seem to affect anything, so I kind of ignore it. Close-up of the ink that's trapped between the inner cap and the outer cap. And then we have the writing there. A little bit reflecty, but let's see. Pilot, made in Japan. A little star, custom 74 star. The custom series is quite nice, and you can see the threading, and there's these kind of, I don't know, like divots. They don't seem to do anything, but they look okay. So that is the close-up of the cap. Next to the body of the pen. So a few threads, not bad. It's a demonstrator, obviously, so you can see inside. Let you know how much ink's in it. There's no ink in it right now because I'm going to show you it filling up. But without the converter or anything, just kind of a lilac demonstrator, which is kind of nice. You can still see through it, but it's got some color. It's got the chrome band there, and then the smoke dome matching the top, which I kind of like. So it's kind of like a cigar shape. Here's the converter. This is a Con 70 converter, which I like a lot. It holds a lot of ink. I just shot some water out of it. It's just a button like this. I'll show you it filling. Chrome, it works really well. It just pressure fit up in there. There's the old ink in there. Get that out of there because I'm not using black when I load this up. I'll have to clean that out. Kind of chrome there with the threads that fit into the barrel of the pen, and you can see the whole converter in there. Chrome band there, and then the section, which is like a basic hourglass section, and you can see here is actually ink in the section as well that I've never been able to get out. And then the nib. Here's a close-up of the nib. It has the nice scroll work around it. Has the single breather hole. It says Pilot. It says the gold content 5, and then it says the F for fine because it's a fine nib, and then there's the feed. It fits nicely in my hand. I'm a big fan of this. So those are the pieces of the pen. Let's go and give it some ratings, and then we'll do a rating sample. Okay, so those are the pieces of the pen. Let's give this pen some ratings out of 5. So for design, I'm going to rate this pen a 4.5. I actually quite like it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to rate this pen a 4 because there are some issues that I have with it. It's a demonstrator, so you can see all the workings, which is great. You can see the filling mechanism. You know how much ink there's in it. But with that comes some problems, which I showed you in the piece of the pen, where some ink gets around to inside the cap and inside the section, which I don't love. But other than that, the design I think looks great. I like the kind of lilac demonstrator color. The white gold, or actually part of the rhodium plated gold on all the fittings is really nice. I like that. I really like the Con 70 converter, and I'm going to show you filling that when I do the writing sample, because it's a little bit different the way it fills than a lot of other converters, and it holds a lot of ink, so it's pretty good. So 4 for the design. For comfort, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I like it. It's a nice length for my hand. The section is kind of not huge, but it just feels really comfortable. I ran with this pen for a long time, and I've never had any problems with it. You could post it. I wouldn't. I don't really post my pens. I don't find that much more comfortable, but nice balance here. And it's not very heavy, so it's not top heavy when you post it. For writing experience, I'm going to give it a 4.5. I don't normally go for fine nibs, but this is my favorite fine nib I have. It writes nicely. It's got a little bit of flex, so you can give your writing some a little bit of flourish if you want to. You'll see all that in the writing sample. I just really like writing with this pen. I've never had any issues. It flows well, writes nicely, and I've used it for many years. And it's one of those pens that just keeps getting inked over and over again. Like, you know, you have a lot of pens sitting there. Some of them you don't use very often. This is not one of them. Use it all the time. So anyways, those are the ratings. Obviously, I like the pen. And so what I'm going to do now is a writing sample, and then we will be done. So goodbye and goodbye. Okay, so let's fill this pen up using the Con 70 converter. I'm just going to use Jeffkevlar Orange Indian. I've actually never used this ink. I just want to try something different. This is usually loaded up with black ink because I use it a lot for drawing, but try something different. Show you the Con 70 converter at work. So instead of a screw like most converters, you dip it in there, you press the button, and every time you press it, it fills up with more ink. So you can do that until it's full. You want to wipe it off, wipe off the section, wipe everything off, put the lid on so you don't have a disaster. Alright, so the pen goes back together, so it's really easy. It holds a lot more ink than the Con, was it Con 50 is the one that's in the Falcon, the smaller one, it's the twist top. This one holds a lot more ink. And it writes nicely, so we're going to do the writing sample now. Here we go. So this is the Pilot Custom 74. Got a fine nib, and the ink is Jeffkevlar Orange Indian. So let's do some writing. fox jumps over lazy dog. So I can say that it writes really nicely. It's a fine nib. It's not the finest fine, but it's also because I'm using it for a long time. I find that, you know, over time, really fine nibs, if you use them quite a bit, especially they're gold, they kind of loosen up a bit. I don't have a very heavy hand, but, you know, it goes from it started off even finer than this, I would say. Over years, it has kind of loosened up a bit, which I don't mind, because I don't really love a super fine nib, even though this is good. And it writes really smoothly. Like, there's a little bit of sound, and that's a little bit of feedback, but not like in a bad way. It's not like scratchy. It's just has a slight tooth, and what you're gonna have. And if you put it really lightly, you don't even get that. So let's write quickly. Keeps up just fine. I've never had flow issues with this pen, never had any starts or stops. It's always just wrote really well, no wetness. Now this is not a sopping wet nib by any means. That would be odd for a fine nib, but it's not dry. Like, you get a solid covering and, you know, spray it a little bit. Now it actually has not so much flex, but a little bit of give, so let's try. You can actually give it a little bit of line variation. So there is that. Building, I'm not really pushing too hard. It's got some give and it pops right back to normal. Not a problem. You can write on the reverse, but it has a hard time keeping up, and it's a very fine, very thin line. But it's not incredibly unpleasant by any means. So yeah, so that's the pen. And actually this pen I've had, like I said, for a long time. It was given to me as a gift, and I've used it for it went back to school a while ago, and I used it for a couple years in notes. I've done a lot of drawing with it. I've kind of, it's like a pen I go back to over and over again, and then if I have it out for my wrap for a bit, and then I put it back in, I was like, oh right, yeah, I love this pen. And like I said, I almost always have it with inks with black ink for drawing, but you know, try something different. I haven't actually used this ink before, so it's fine. I actually like the ink. It's a good orange ink. I don't like an orange ink that's too pale that you can't see, and it's got, you can see shades a little bit, so that's nice. So let me give Ponyo I'm not sure if you noticed when I showed him, he's incredibly wrinkly. And I bet you probably didn't know that underneath, if you have a cat, underneath all that hair, they are all wrinkles and saggy skin. So anyways, that's the video. This is Pilot Custom 74. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. There's lots of videos. There's going to be lots more coming. I don't see me stopping anytime soon, even if I get a little bit behind when I do it. So feel free to subscribe. But in the meantime, goodbye.